So let's go right into our baseball recaps. We got the Yankees just doing Yankee things again. Outside of breaking the not being shutout streak, the run streak, which is kind of unfortunate. But they came out strong after. So
they did. No, they did.
Yep, 43 games over 500. I'll take it. I mean,
oh yes.
At this point, yeah, it's interesting. We go into another series at Fenway. Last time we went to Fenway, I mean, we split. Wasn't really the best series that we have, but I feel a little bit more confident with the way that everybody's playing.
Mm-hmm.
And from what it seems like is that we're about to have a lot of people return.
Mm-hmm.
Giancarlo's about to start his rehab start, and Severino already started his rehab program.
Also, the Rail Riders made it into the playoffs, so any of the rehab stuff can happen in game situations down there.
Hey.
Yup. Shout out Scranton, man. Shout out.
Yep. Have you guys ever watched the show the Yankees have on
Yes Network? Yes Network. Yeah. It's like
something.
Yeah,
Path,
right? Path to Pinstripes. Yeah, I seen that joint.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool though.
It's cool with all the young dudes that some of them like are actually playing now, so it's kind of dope. Like they did an episode on like Talkman and on what's his face, fat guy, Mike Ford.
Yeah,
fat guy.
Nah, shout out to them though, for real. Like Michael K said it too in the broadcast of the night, where it's like, yo, they made the playoffs because the Yankees have been hurt so much this year, they're just constantly taking their best players.
Yep.
So shout out to them, and then now we're giving us better chances to have our players rehab there. Shout out to Encarnacion playing, what was it, 8? He had 8 at bats, I think.
Yep.
And Scranton, he came back and hit a homer.
Yep. So he looks fine.
Yeah. So Mike Ford's probably going to be on that roster, but probably not see the field.
No. I don't think Mike Ford is going to end up on the roster. He's on a playoff roster.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not going to be on a playoff roster.
Nope.
I can tell you that now. What really was contingent on who's going to be on that 25-man roster?
Oh no, Rick's back. He doesn't need to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's absolutely not going to be. It really depends on if the Yankees want to, how many outfielders they want to have and how many relievers they want.
Yeah.
They saying Urshela's going to be back on Sunday, so he'll be back and he's obviously going to make the roster. But it should be interesting to see like which outfielders. That's going to be the only confusing situation because if Stanton come back and if Hicks comes back, God willing, then it's going to be them two, Judge in the outfield. Then they're probably going to take Gardner, and I'm missing somebody.
Maven.
Maven.
It could be Maven. It could be Talkman.
Yeah, I was like, do you take Maven over Talkman for the experience and Talkman slumping right now?
I mean, yeah. I feel like you would have to go with whoever's hot, but I mean, Maven isn't particularly hot either.
Yeah.
So, but Maven gets on base though. That's the one thing he's and he's fast. So at least you're always going to have somebody on the bench to pinch run in a situation.
I feel like if there was a utility guy we should take from the outfield, I wouldn't mind it. I think Maven would be the utility guy I would want over Talkman, just because he can field for defensive purposes. He has been hitting relatively well this year, and he's fast.
How about Red Thunder coming back this week?
Yeah, shout out my son Clint, but
he just got to get into the flow again. But I ain't worried about him. I just pray they don't trade this man. I hope they're not just trying to build trade value by calling him up, man.
Hey, man, it really depends on what you get, though.
You're right, but
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think you would want to trade him though, because isn't his primary position left field, and I don't expect Gardner to be on the team too long. So it would be nice, and that's probably a reason why he struggles in right field anyway. So like you keep him in left or keep him on the team. As soon as Gardner goes, boom, there you go.
He's supposed to be the heir apparent for Gardner anyway.
Yep.
And we all know, we talk about it every week. This man's got this star potential. Man.
You know what? It just sucks that I think Yankees fans now they want to see Talkman in that role. And don't get me wrong,
living in the moment.
Yeah, I'm not upset. I'm not upset at it though. Talkman, he had this run where he was really bugging out, but he's significantly cooled down.
The sock man.
Yeah, right. He's significantly cooled down. And nobody really talks about it. People was upset at Clint Frazier because he made a few defensive mistakes the other day, but it's Talkman will go 0 for 3, and everybody would be like, "We'll just completely disregard it."
Yeah,
I think you got to keep
the same energy.
Type of consistency. Yeah, right. You got to keep the same consistency with these young dudes coming up.
Also, what's my favorite point about Talkman versus Frazier?
Oh yeah, that Talkman is old.
Yeah, my man's is 28, which makes him more of a piece and less of an asset.
Yep.
You know what I'm thinking? I wish Talkman was playing better right now, so that way it's like when the end of the season comes, somebody's like, "Oh, Talkman, he might be pretty good. Let's see if we can use him as a starting outfielder, and then maybe we can get some prospects or something."
Yeah, we could definitely use some. But when is Hicks supposed to come back?
Well, I mean, he just started throwing again, so I don't know when. I don't know when exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna be real careful about that because they were worried it was Tommy John.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to pull like a KD over here.
Yep, exactly. I don't even think that he will be ready. So I think they should just keep. I think they will keep him off the roster. So
you think they'll keep him off the roster? Period.
If he's hurt, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Because why even risk it at that point? It's like, no disrespect to Aaron Hicks, and he's one of the best defensive outfielders out there. But if he's hurt, there's no place for him. There's no place for him. Like, not to live in the moment with these young dudes, but I'm just saying it's a roster spot. At the end of the day, it's like,
and they're holding it down.
Yeah, and if he's gonna be hurt, or if it's even a risk of re-injury, I wouldn't even risk it.
Yeah, I agree. Because especially they just signed him to that deal. Like, just let him take his time. Like, everyone's been playing well to cover for him. And let's say if Stanton comes back and is able to play the field and Hicks doesn't, we still have Gardner, and then we have whatever backups play center or left or vice versa. You know what I mean? So like we'll have enough coverage. Like our outfield is I saw articles there too about like how it was like Cashman's crowded outfield. You know what I mean? Like the polar opposite of what we had last year. But it's working out. So if anything, I'm on board with that, where it's like it's not that big of a deal if you miss the playoffs. Obviously, we'd rather have him, or at least have him like off the bench. But at the same time, like I wouldn't want him to try and get warm in the playoffs.
Yep, I guess we'll see. It's gonna be very interesting because they're gonna carry they're gonna carry two catchers. It should be about 6 infielders between Voit, LeMahieu, Didi, Torres, Urshela, and probably one utility guy. Same thing with the outfield. It'll probably be 4. It'll probably be
Wade, right?
5, maybe Wade. Maybe it's possible. And then it'll be 6 outfielders, possibly. Then it'll be 5 or 6. No. I lied. It'll be either 4 or 5 outfielders and then 12 or 13 pitchers.
Hold on.
What's up?
Who are the 6 infielders you named? You said Voit, Glaber, Urshela, Didi, and DJ, right? Encarnacion can play first, bro.
Encarnacion. So that'll be he'll be the 6th infielder.
Yeah, there you go.
So it won't be Tyler.
It's low for Wade because between LeMahieu, Torres, and like Urshela, you could just throw him wherever.
Yep.
Wait. Exactly. So then, then the question becomes, right? Once everybody gets healthy, and let's say Giancarlo comes back, who do you slot in the DH spot? If you're
say you slot Encarnacion in the DH, and you let Stanton play left field.
You let Stanton play the field over who? Gardner?
No, Gardner will play center if Hicks doesn't come back.
Gardner plays center. But that's what I was saying. If everybody comes back healthy, let's say.
So disclaimer. So, you're saying so this is if everybody in a healthy lineup.
In a healthy lineup, who's the odd man out? Would it be?
You're gonna have to rotate. It's gonna be somebody different every night. It's gonna be somebody that you don't want. I mean, somebody that you want to play that can't play because it's either gonna be Voit, it's either gonna be, or it might be Encarnacion, or it might be. I'm trying to think. Everybody's healthy.
If everyone's healthy, I think it's Encarnacion.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think Voigt's been playing too well all season, and also I feel like his defense is better than.
I'm about to say who. I think it comes down to who's the better first baseman. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Voigt put the work in to get in shape and to be more athletic to play the position this year.
It'll either be Voit or Encarnacion. This is what the bench rotation is probably going to end up being. It'll probably be between Urshela, Voit, and Encarnacion, simply because DJ is going to play first or third every day. He's going to play first or third every day, depending on what the lineup is. Depending on who gets the day off is what I'm saying.
And starting pitching, I guess.
Yeah, and then I mean, just think when it, not to get ahead of ourselves, but let's say they get to the World Series, You're gonna have potentially Giancarlo Stanton, Encarnacion, or Voit, and somebody else as your pinch hitters just sitting on the bench. Yep. I mean, that's pretty comforting to
for sure. I'm so excited.
We got to get there though. Three more weeks of the season.
End of September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of 3 more weeks and getting there. Oh man. All right. So before we begin, I just want to say that I have been tuning into the Mets. I've been rooting for the Mets like all season, probably more so this season than I ever actually have. And the other night, I just couldn't help but like I was pissed. I felt like the Yankees lost. I felt like the Yankees lost because I've never seen anything like it.
To put things into perspective for you guys, when Miles texted us after this game, he was yelling at the TV like he was a real Mets fan. So that just shows how frustrated he was just at the course of events.
I can only imagine what an actual Mets fan was going through. Oh my gosh.
It was the most. I just couldn't believe it. So I'm listening to the game on my way home, and by the time I get home, I'm up to the top of the ninth, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Alonso hit his 44th home run, and then McNeil get a hit. Conforto get a hit. I'm like, all right, this game is over. So I turn the channel, and then I go back to the game because I saw on ESPN. I got ESPN notification that the Nationals scored, and it's 10-7. I'm like, okay. And then they keep scoring, and then they brought in Edwin Diaz. Edwin fucking Diaz, man. And this is the problem. The Mets have 25 blown saves the entire year, and they have about 60 wins. If you cut those blown saves in half, they're a playoff team. It's just this team is so much better than their record shows us. Their bullpen can't get it done. And when your bullpen can't get it done, stuff like last night happens. A complete implosion. And the Mets fans are upset. They're gonna blame Mickey, like it was Mickey's fault. He took out Seth Lugo going into the 9th inning. If your bullpen can't protect a 6-run league in Major League Baseball, you don't deserve to be a Major League team. That was just one of the worst implosions I've ever seen from the team. And just seeing Kurt Suzuki hit that 3-run homer, it was heartbreaking. I felt for every Mets fan, and I was yelling at the TV screen like, "What?" Like, it's crazy.
No, that was I was really wild getting notifications. I was not watching the game at night, but just seeing everything transpire after the fact was wild. It's like hearing the quotes where it's like, "Oh man, I really feel like I let down my team." Like, yeah, no shit. Like I was trying to make the playoffs and you can't even finish. You blew a 7-point lead
right
in the bottom of the 9th. Like that doesn't even sound real. And
it doesn't.
I know you're saying it, but it's like I honestly haven't seen at least the Mets fans that I know really say much about Mickey, just like what the fuck is this team, and just more so about how bad the Diaz trade was. Because that shit is like there's no excuse. There's zero excuse, and like I don't know. I think what Mickey called like a team meeting or something today, because it's like, dude, like, how do you go back to how do you look at your teammates again going like, yo, we're really trying to make the wild card and this is what you're doing? If you're Jacob deGrom, how do you look at your team?
Ooh, I'm so glad you brought up Jacob deGrom because
oh yeah, let's get into
this. I saw this stat and I got upset for Jacob deGrom, right? So over his last 57 starts, right? 57 starts, he is 16-17. Sorry, 16-17 with a 2.13 ERA. Right now, here's where it gets even crazier. The team as a whole in those 57 games, 21-36. They are 15 games under 500 when Jacob deGrom starts. Mind you, Jacob deGrom has only given up about 2 runs a game. 2 runs a game. And he is 16-17. We need to save this man. We need to get this man out of poverty right now. We need an extraction team because this is blasphemy. Honestly, it's blasphemy.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I said this before, but I said this to you guys. Yeah, I really think this might be just like the Melo contract where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna take my money to sign this extension and stay here and just waste these good years of my career. when I could have gone to either in a trade, like gone and maybe played for that other New York team and have a ridiculous amount of wins. Like it's, oh man, it hurts. Like honestly, the only the only person I'd be okay with them trading Clint Frazier for would probably be DeGrom, and exactly start the free Jacob DeGrom hashtag over here or something, because this man, he deserves better. He's like a battered woman right now.
This guy is in Rikers Island right now. DeGrom is stuck there. Like it's ridiculous. If you gave DeGrom the Yankees offense in those 57 games, he'd probably be like 45 and like 8 or something like that. Like like he would have a stupidly great record because the team can at least put up more than 3 runs a game. It's mind-boggling, and that's what's really frustrating. If I was a Met fan, I'd be really frustrated with, because they have one of the best starting rotations in all of baseball, and they've had it for the past 4 or 5 years, even going back to the Matt Harvey days, and yet they can't build a team around it. If it's not the bullpen, it's the hitting. If it's not the hitting, it's the bullpen. They've never had a team where it's like, okay, the hitting is decent, the bullpen's decent, and the starting pitching is phenomenal. Aside from that one year in 2015. And that's only because they got the Cespedes trade midway through the season. And I believe they got the guy from the Reds. Oh, wow, I'm blanking on his name. I believe he's on like the Red Sox now. But he was a big power hitter.
I forgot his name.
But
what are you talking about, though?
Yeah, but like phenomenal pitching, decent hitting. They added somebody, Cespedes and this other guy, right? So to boost the offense. And then you had a semi-decent bullpen. Now it's like, I don't know who you turn to in the bullpen and going. And it's crazy that the whole team mentality in baseball, like you go into the locker room, and if you're like a position player, right, you go into that 9th inning. All right, we gave you guys a 6-run lead. We come back into the locker room, we lose. Like, how do I go in front of the media and be like, we as a team need to be better, blah, blah, blah. We did our job. Like, if I'm a position player, I did my job. I went, 2 for 5. I got an RBI. I got a home run. And this guy comes in the game and completely blows it. So how am I supposed to feel? Like, I feel like it's kind of hard team chemistry wise when these guys are performing on offense. Pete Alonso having a phenomenal year.
Yeah, he might catch Aaron Judge's record.
Yeah, and then you got guys like Diaz that are just gonna come in and completely blow it.
It's unfair. Like I said, and like I've been saying, this team is better than what it's shown. It's just unfortunate that like these players, like even like Conforto, he's quietly having a really good season. Has about 30 home runs and almost 90 RBIs. Like McNeil's having a great season as well, and I just don't want it to be ruined with the fact that the Mets might not make the playoffs. I still think that they can. It's just difficult. But I will say this, on the bright side, they did win this series today. So I guess that kind of makes up for it, but not really, because it should have been a sweep.
Still probably broken after that shit. Unless now they just go on a tear and win every game.
It's possible, though. I mean,
for sure.
There's plenty of baseball left, but it's just the fact that like they need to win. So they need to win a lot of these games. These are hard games. They have to play teams that are all in front of them except for 2 teams. So they got 3 games against the Phillies, then 4 against the Diamondbacks, which is going to be a very critical series. They have 3 against LA Dodgers. Then they have 3 against Colorado, 3 against the Reds, 4 against the Marlins, and then 3 against the Braves. It's not an easy schedule. They have a lot of work to do. And in that time period, the bullpen is going to have to rely on somebody other than Seth Lugo and Justin Wilson to step up. Otherwise, playoffs just not in the cards this year.
I don't know. It's just like it's Fritos men, man. Like, it sucks because you can't even be like, oh, Mets fans are spoiled. Or it's just like they're just starting pitchers just wasting good years of their career. And yeah, like I don't understand. Like, when do you just tear down the whole shit and just build your farm system up?
I mean, it's tough because
even if you don't get rid of your starting pitching, like start trading some shit, man.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is that this team is not as far away as you actually think. Like, it's unrealistic to say if they have the Yankees bullpen, but if they had like even a subpar bullpen, they would be significantly better. And they're just now realizing that, not just now realizing, but Seth Lugo's been their consistently best closer, like, and he's just now starting to close games. And you know what I'm saying? And Edwin Diaz now, like it's to the point where he can't see another high leverage situation for the rest of the season. If I'm Mickey Callaway, you can't trust him in that role. There's no way. Yeah. And he was put in a position where he kind of had to trust him, and he messed up again. Imagine having a closer that let up 14 home runs. You pitching only one inning a game. It's not even the end of the season yet. 14 home runs. Crazy.
Man can't even do his job.
Nope.
Something has to be off of him because he has good stuff, and he's only 25. So if the Mets do decide to trade him, he'll definitely be some trade bait. But it would be nice if he could close the game.
Do you
just close one?
Do you wait to trade him until after next season? How long do you wait?
I don't know how long he's under control for, so I have to check that. But
I think it's still 2 years. But even still, I mean, is he that much of an asset right now? I mean,
not right now.
If you ask anybody, I don't think anybody wants Diaz on, which is crazy because if you think about it, literally just go back, 8-9 months, Diaz was arguably a top 3 closer in the league. Yep. It's crazy how much of a drop off he's had this season. Nobody could have predicted it. I mean, and I don't think blame should be placed on, oh wow, why am I blanking? I just had his name in my head, the GM. Brody Van, Brody. Yeah, Van Wagenen. Because, I mean, if you think about it, Diaz coming in was looked at as a great trade, and then you just had to have Cano. All right. And you would have thought that Cano was like the black sheep in that trade, but it really kind of turns out that Diaz is. I think, but going back to, I think I may have said this last week, but this is going to be a really big offseason for Brody. I mean, he's a New York, like the Mets are a New York team, but they spend like a Milwaukee Brewers. They're a big market team, but in
an early episode, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but they don't spend money, and he needs to spend money on this bullpen. And until they spend money, well, they're just going to be the same old Mets.
Yeah, well, season's almost done, so it's like we got to see if they can catch or not. Because it's still not a lot. They're not a whole lot of games back. Like they're still in striking distance. It's just
4.5 games. But
do they fold after?
It's going to.
I don't know how you come back though. Like that's a tough one. I mean, they're going to win. Since it's not like they're going to win games of the season, but I think they'll just falter. And like I say off rip, they finish under 5. Like the rest of the games, they go under 500 for those remaining games.
Mm.
Yeah, so they have 26 games left. I'm not gonna lie, they need to win 20 of these 26 games if they want to make the playoffs. That's it. They gotta go 20. They gotta go 20-6 for the rest of the season.
And other people gotta lose.
Yeah, other people gotta lose too. But the more important is that they have to win. So they only have 6 losses left before their season is over. I'll put it like that.
They're 4.5 games back.
4.5 back. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
20-6 should work. I just think I just can't see him. I think they're probably going to go like 12-14.
The only reason why I have hope. The only reason why I have hope is because the Cubs, who are the second wild card team, they're great at home, but they're terrible on the road. Like they're a sub 500 team by like 8 or 9 games on the road. It's baseball. Anything can happen. I'm not holding my breath on it, but I'm sticking to what I'm saying is that the Mets is going to make the playoffs. I still think that they can. They just, Brandon Nimmo came back. He had a couple good at bats these past few days, and then Robbie Cano came back 3 for 3. So maybe this is the spark plug that they need, something that'll motivate them.
Hopefully.
Yep. So I guess we'll see.